The entire story of Ben 10 Illustrated, all 5 parts. Y'all know we are big Ben 10 fans here on this channel, man, so I'm excited for this one. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. Where you at, family?
Where you at, Berto?
Let's get right into it. Drop that like on the way in. Come on, let's go. Okay.
Hi, I'm Yuri Lowenthal, the voice of Ben Tennyson.
This is Paul Lighting, the voice of Max Tennyson.
Hi, I'm Tara Strong, the voice of Ben Tennyson.
Greg Sipes, the voice of Kevin Levin, and right now, that's how we do it, and this is Wingman G, the real-life beast
He looks like he would voice Kevin 11.
boy, and you're watching the Ink Tank, babies!
Thanks for tuning into the Ink Tank.
Thanks for tuning in to the Ink Tank.
I loved working on Ben 10, and I wish they would do a Ben 10 animated feature film.
We had a great time working on that
Yes! That's a great idea.
show. We were a family, even the aliens.
I love being Ben, because I get to turn into whatever alien I want, at least most of the time.
Don't touch my car. Enjoy the video, yo!
We hope you enjoy the video.
Hope you enjoyed the video. It's hero time.
Going hero. Bye, guys.
This is Max. Out.
Aw, that was a nice touch. Okay, W video already, man. Drop a like, let's go.
An unquantifiably long amount of time ago, there was a blank dimension without a universe in it. The fifth-dimensional cosmic traveling beings known as the Quantumalia arrive at this dimension and continue their never-ending expedition of creating universes through this device known as the Annihilargenis Astoria Phimiagost, or the Annihilarg for short. Briefly before the universe was about to be created, the time-traveling would-be dictator Maltruant arrives. With him, his own Annihilarg, programmed to create a universe in his image, with himself as the supreme ruler. Before the evil Annihilarg can go off, shape-shifting hero beyond time known as Ben Tennyson arrives with his partner Rook, and using the power of all of his transformations, contains the Big Bang and defeats Maltruant, scattering his body into pieces across the universe, destined to repeat his failure over and over again, trapped in a time loop. Gazing upon the faces of God, Ben and Rook admire the beauty of creation. From there, the Universe Prime is born.
Epic.
This video is the completed, illustrated retelling of the entire history of Ben 10, from the classic series all the way to Omniverse. The information will be presented chronologically, so you will see all flashback and time travel shenanigans play out in the order they would have happened in the natural progression of the universe. By the end, you should be well versed in the legacy that is the hero of heroes. I'd love to hear reactions from both longtime fans and new beginners of the show, and see
I'm
if they
actually kind of excited about this just from like all the different Ben 10s and even the newer material that I haven't watched. You know, I think I really kind of tapped out at Ben 10 Alien Force. Anything after that, I wasn't, or Ultimate Alien. Ultimate Alien, I know what's going on. But after that, I kind of started zoning out and not really paying attention. So I'm excited for this one, y'all.
can follow along. Now, let's begin. Released into the universe are these single-celled ancestors to all DNA, known as slimebiots. These sentient genetomorphic species gather, carry, mix, and deposit DNA across the growing universe for eons to come. They are essentially the creators of most known sentient life today. Sometime after the universe had time to grow, a swampy, small planet gives birth to a genius that will become the smartest being in many galaxies. Azmuth, a Galvan who at full height is only about 6 inches tall, soon begins to flourish his passions to invent and learn alongside his mate, Zenith. His first grandiose invention being an entire artificial planet known as Primus. Obsessed with his own capability, Azmuth sought out to find a way to tap into the fundamental forces of the universe and control the laws of physics himself. Inspired by a solitary alignment, Azmuth forged the Sword of Ascalon, a sword that wields such great power, one can't help but compare it to magic. This pushed Zenith away, with a young Azmuth too ignorant to care. However, the sword was stolen by a fierce incursion warrior, hoping to put an end to their constant world wars. This eventually led to the destruction of the incursion planet. Azmuth blamed himself. After retrieving the sword, Azmuth was still longing to prove the sword's creation was valid. Eventually, Azmuth visited a, quote, pathetic backwater planet he came across on his studies. Earth, circa 1131, the medieval era. Georgius, a Roman soldier cursed with immortality, is defending his land from a cross-dimensional shape-shifting being known as the Dagon, enslaver of 100 different dimensions, and his army of demon Lucubras. To relinquish the assault, Azmuth offers the knight his sword if Sir George, the Roman soldier's current name, was worthy enough to wield it. Sir George indulges on Azmuth's offer and engages in an epic battle, ending with George cutting out the heart of the Dagon and leaving Ascalon buried within. As the Dagon's heart was the source of his power, George was then able to magically seal the Dagon away, freeing humanity from his reign. Sir George then founded the Forever Knights, vowing to protect Earth from extraterrestrial threats and prepare for the Dagon's
The Forever Knights ended up being kind of evil though, ain't it?
potential second coming. Azmuth sought out to right his wrongs by inventing something to represent peace instead of war, hoping that one day, his lost lover would notice. Eventually, Azmuth became antisocial and put himself in isolation on Xenon, and began developing the Omnitrix, which can transform the user into a multitude of alien species. Azmuth would continue to perfect his invention over time. In the 1770s, George Washington is leading a secret organized branch of hunters dedicated to learning about and protecting the world from supernatural threats and rumors. A stranded Maltruant arrives here and receives aid from a young, banished traveler named Vilgax. Vilgax helps Maltruant repair his ship, and in return, Maltruant gives young Vilgax a Chronosapien time bomb. The two are soon intercepted by Ben and Rook time hopping once again, and fight off young Vilgax and Maltruant with the help of George Washington. Seeing Ben transform from species to species inspired Vilgax's lifelong lust for this unique kind of power, as Ben unknowingly became the catalyst for his greatest foe. Washington cuts the anchor of Vilgax's ship, inspiring the tale of George Washington cutting down the cherry tree. This also marks the first recorded alien sighting on Earth, and Washington's organization starts to integrate extraterrestrial matters. This sets up the creation of the Plumbers, meant to fix leaks in normal society. They create a headquarters hidden behind the faces of Mount Rushmore, a nod to their original members, the Founding Fathers. In 1952, an unnamed scientist working in a secret base of operations just outside of Bellwood is completing his work on a machine that uses quartz crystal to break a hole in the space-time continuum. The machine erupts, and both the scientist and his assistant disappear, thought to be dead. In 1962, 10 years later, Air Force pilot turned astronaut Maxwell Tennyson saves the life of an energy being named Verdona from an android that aspired to use her as a power source. The two eventually start a family together. Also present was an alien police officer named Magister Labrid, who invites Max to join the force. This stems the integration of the intergalactic merger of said police force and the Earth Plumbers. Plumbers are now multi-galaxy wide and operate as the definitive law enforcement for all galaxies under their jurisdiction. Max would go on to work with many partners through his years on the force. On one of his missions, an Osmosian named Devin Levin gave his life for Max, entrusting him to keep an eye on his son. We come to know this son's name as Kevin Levin, who was born with the power to absorb any kind of energy, matter, or DNA into himself and replicate.
Was Kevin born with that power?
Levin gave his life for Max, entrusting him to keep an eye on his son. We come to know this son's name as Kevin Levin, who was born with the power to absorb any kind of energy, matter, or DNA into himself and replicate it. Of course, it would take a very long time for Kevin to control his abilities, and after accidentally destroying his family's home, he runs away to the city of New York. A few years pass, and Azmuth has finally finished the prototype version of his Omnitrix, and tasked one of Max's old love interests, Xylene, to transport the Omnitrix to the greatest plumber on record, Max Tennyson, for safekeeping. However, rumors of the Omnitrix's existence has spread through the universe. Now a fierce warlord with a reputation, Vilgax catches wind of these rumors, igniting his hunger to taste this power he once witnessed hundreds of years ago, and sets a course to intercept Xylene's mission and capture the Omnitrix for himself. A fight for the Omnitrix between Xylene and Vilgax's ship causes an explosion. This concludes with Vilgax suffering life-threatening injuries, imprisoning him on his own ship until he can properly heal. Xylene injects the Omnitrix into a pod locked onto Max's DNA, but she herself falls into the Arctic, freezing her into a deep sleep for the time being. Back in Bellwood, Max Tennyson, now retired and living in a motorhome, decides to take his grandchildren on a cross-country trip to help bring them closer together. A 10-year-old Ben Tennyson, accompanied by his cousin Gwen, begin their road trip with Max at a campsite in Yosemite Park, California. Through a series of events we later learned were manipulated by greater forces, Ben finds himself crossing paths with a mysterious meteor that fell from the sky. The Omnitrix quickly attaches itself to Ben's wrist, igniting the legend of Ben 10, kid superhero that can change into 10 different alien forms. Max has yet to reveal to his grandchildren his alien hunting past, but uses his knowledge of alien life and combat training to help Ben master his powers. The trio spend the summer going from state to state, stepping in to help out battle evildoers and save the day when they can. During a trip to New York, the gang eventually run into Kevin, who uses his abilities to absorb the DNA of Ben's aliens for him to use for his own selfish, psychopathic gain. A discharge from the Omnitrix sends Kevin into hiding, where he experiments more with the alien DNA he now has merged into his body. As their adventures continue, Ben starts to have visions of a mysterious onlooker, someone who has been spying on him and testing him by sending bounty hunters and alien drones. Vilgax's healing time has come to an end, and now with a much more powerful cybernetic body, Vilgax heads straight to Earth to claim the Omnitrix as his own. Vilgax successfully captures Ben, taunting him with his plans of creating an army of Omnitrix warriors. Max reveals his history as a plumber to Gwen, and the two head to Mount Rushmore to gather more weapons to save Ben. Meanwhile, a power surge on Vilgax's ship begins to shift Ben between his alien forms. A final assault between Ben, Gwen, and Max against Vilgax leaves him trapped on his exploding ship. Max agrees to open up to the kids about his secret life, and the three become stronger and closer together. As their summer adventures continue, the trio expand their capabilities. Max comes out of retirement and begins to re-familiarize himself with his old technology and weapons. Gwen takes an interest in magic after stealing a spellbook from one of their many reoccurring villains. And Ben soon discovered that there are more than 10 aliens in the Omnitrix, and becomes a natural at many fighting styles. Vilgax eventually emerges under a partnership with Kevin, who has now permanently damaged his body with the alien DNA from Ben's Omnitrix. Ben temporarily gains access to the master control of his Omnitrix. Max seals them both away in the Null Void, an alternate dimension made to inhabit the galaxy's worst criminals. On Max's 60th birthday, Ben and Gwen...
They really put that nigga Kevin through that shit. Like, I know he was moving crazy, but he was also just a young nigga tripping. Nigga was just going through fucking puberty, bruh.
And are thrusted 20 years into the future by Gwendolyn, an adult version of Gwen, now a master of martial arts and magic. During this brief journey, Ben evaluates the arrogant and selfish behavior he develops as he matures into adulthood, and vows to make different choices as he grows. Ben and Gwen are returned to their time shortly after defeating future Vilgax. Xylene also arrives after she is accidentally unfrozen by a group of Inuits. She reveals to them that the Omnitrix was intended for Max, not Ben, but deems him worthy enough to keep it. At some point, Ben is yet again hurled into the future, this time only 6 years, during a chrono-randomization barrier error by 16-year-old Ben Tennyson. Ben then helps his future self and team defeat Ultimate Aggregor. More on that later. After this event, Ben is sent back to his own time and recalls this journey as a vague dream. Towards the end of the summer, the Omnitrix's self-destruction is accidentally turned on during a battle with one of Ben's reoccurring enemies, Dr. Animo. Ben is taken to space by Tetrax, an ex-bounty hunter turned vigilante, to help Ben find the creator of the Omnitrix and turn off the self-destruct, as the destruction's power will destroy the entire universe. Vilgax escapes the Null Void and trails them, intending to steal the Omnitrix once and for all, or force the creator to build him a new one. The gang finally meet Azmuth, who at first refuses to fix the Omnitrix, as he believes the universe is doomed to destroy itself anyway. In a last effort,
and this nigga's a diamond head alien, I'm pretty sure,
to save the universe, Ben battles Vilgax and his army one final time without use of the Omnitrix. This inspires Azmuth to put his faith in Ben as the future hope of the universe, and fixes the Omnitrix, unlocking one of Ben's most powerful forms in the process. Azmuth keeps an eye on Ben from that point forward, but for now, still refuses to give him the master control. Meanwhile, back on Earth, the Highbreed begins seeding their plants for universal domination by planting sleeper agents and slowly integrating themselves into society. With summer vacation over, Ben and Gwen return to school. The disorientated dad of Azmuth soon visits and declares war on Ben after misinformation leads him to believe that Ben has killed Azmuth, and a Toku Star battle in the middle of Bellwood City causes miles of detrimental property damage. The city secretly enlists the help of various aliens to help rebuild Bellwood, with the aliens taking up camp below the surface. Over time, these camps would form a city of their own. A year passes, and Ben unlocks a new transformation named Feedback and quickly becomes addicted to using him. Meanwhile, in the Null Void, Kevin finds himself in a plumber-operated prison and meets Quarrel, a wise inmate with knowledge on Osmosians. He helps Kevin learn to control his rage, which was the trigger of his initial mutation. The more energy an Osmosian absorbs, the more insane they become. To combat this, Kevin learns to absorb matter instead, creating a suit of armor with whatever material he touches. Quarrel helps Kevin escape by sacrificing his life at the hand of the prison warden, who has a deep hatred for criminals. This memory haunts him through his early teens. Still trapped in the Null Void, Kevin is found and recruited by Proctor Cervantes, leader of the Rooters, a special Black Ops division of the Plumbers. Cervantes was a corrupted scientist who frequently abducted children and performed experiments on them, attempting to create an army of
bro, Kevin had the ugly fucking hand, bro.
Superpowered beings that can assassinate a target known as the oncoming storm. When he discovered Kevin, he thought of him as the key to achieving his dream, and uses Kevin's powers to experiment on himself and a new team of children, creating the Rooters. After a period of training, the Rooters are sent to Earth to execute Ben Tennyson, with the assault led by Kevin. During the battle, the assault fails, which highly upsets Proctor Cervantes, calling the Rooters project a failure. He wipes Kevin's mind of any memory of him, and does the same to the other Rooters, and lets them loose once again into the Null Void. With his new friend by his side, Kevin and Argent wander the Null Void. They eventually find a way out, and after a few scandals as traveling con artist partners, agree to go their separate ways. On Galvan Prime, Azmuth has moved back to his homeworld and becomes their first thinker. During the creation of the Galvanic Mechamorph, a species of sentient blobs of nanites that can possess and enhance machinery that live on Galvan Prime's moon, named Galvan B, one Mechamorph was made incomplete, which corrupted both his biomass and his sanity. His name was Malware. Azmuth worked to develop a cure to stabilize him, but it was deemed a failure. Malware became hostile and attempted to cure himself by kidnapping Albedo, one of the assistants of Azmuth, forcing him to develop a cure. This only mutated and corrupted Malware further. Malware then planned to absorb the Omnitrix and use its power to perfect his form. He steals an incomplete blueprint from an altercation with Ben, and begins working on an Omnitrix duplicate with a scientist known as Dr. Psychobos. The two realize that they are in need of DNA samples to program into their Omnitrix, and enlist the services of Kyber the Huntsman to collect samples from the predators of Ben's aliens. Malware then ambushes the Tennysons, and in an effort to crush Ben's spirit, rips feedback out of Ben's Omnitrix and vaporizes him, destroying Ben's ability to transform into him. Malware, Dr. Psychobos, and Kyber then spend the next 5 years collecting DNA samples for what they will eventually call the Nematrix. Heartbroken by the loss of feedback, Ben eventually has the Omnitrix removed.
Over one alien? Damn, he was jacking that nigga feedback like that? What was so special about feedback? I think feedback was one of them newer aliens that I don't really know too much about. Can somebody explain that to me? Was feedback that crazy?
4 years later, Ben is now 15 years old.
Feedback highlight reel or something. Why was he ain't do move like that when he lost Ghost Freak. Ghost Freak was pretty cool before he went rogue. This nigga feedback must have been putting belt to ass.
And continues living a normal life, playing sports and drinking smoothies. With Grandpa Max missing, Ben re-equips the watch, and with the help of Gwen and Magister Labrid, the high-ranking plumber that originally recruited Max, they begin their search. However, as a catch, the Omnitrix has recalibrated after Ben's 4-year hero hiatus and has locked away his original transformations, while giving him 10 new ones. The three run into Kevin Levin, now 16 and back on Earth, during a weapons deal with the Forever Knights. The DN aliens, slaves that work for the Highbreed, are also present, and after a short escapade, Magister Labrid dies in battle, leaving Ben to carry on Max's legacy. Double-crossed from his weapons deal and honored by Labrid's sacrifice, Kevin offers his help in defeating the Highbreed and their DN aliens. Recalling Ben's so-called dream of a future where he and Kevin were friends, Ben agrees, and the iconic Alien Force trio is formed. Using his new abilities, the trio begin recruiting superpowered allies for an upcoming invasion. Some were good, some were bad, and some were quite questionable. The three eventually find that Max is still alive and has been deep undercover investigating the Highbreed fleet, only to seemingly die yet again by using an unstable null void projector as a grenade to kill a Highbreed general and give Ben and his team another fighting chance. To honor Max's sacrifice, Ben continues his journey to put together a valuable team. As the Highbreed invasion gets closer, many revelations are made. Gwen finds out that her powers come from her alien grandmother, and has been using magic to channel her abilities. The gang meet Professor Paradox, a man thought dead due to a failed time travel experiment that has accidentally launched him outside of reality, where he learned to bend time and space and find his way back. And most importantly, Ben had unlocked his most powerful transformation yet, Alien X, a nigh omnipotent being that can bend.
Alien yet. They said most transformation yet. Okay, I guess that makes sense. I was just thinking like, damn, is there? It made it. I felt like it sounded like there was a transformation more powerful than Alien X, but nah, I'm just stupid.
Reality with a mere thought. Although this power comes with complications to overcome. Later, after a distress call from the Null Void by one of the allies Ben has made, he discovers that Max has yet again escaped the clutches of death, and the Null Void grenade ended up transporting him to this dimension, where he has began an uprising against the dictator persona of Dr. Animo known as the Void. Ben assists the revolution, but Max refuses to leave, as he believes there is still work left for him to do there, but promises to return one day. Now an independent leader, not by burden, but by choice, Ben prepares for war. The war officially begins with the fall of Galvan Prime, the homeworld of Azmuth. He and Paradox then set things into motion. Ben calls in every favor he has at the time for a final assault on the Highbreed, as their plans to extinguish all life they deem impure, which is any race that is not their own, is in full effect. Azmuth at first refuses for Ben to participate in the war, as the Omnitrix is too valuable to risk losing, but after realizing that nothing will stop Ben from fighting, he grants Ben access to the Master Control, the full powers of the Omnitrix that he had only experienced once before. Ben fights his way to the Highbreed control tower, only to find that the true Highbreed Supreme Council is located on their home planet. Max triumphantly returns with his own team to give Ben the fighting chance to make it to the Supreme Council. There, it is revealed that the Highbreed race is actually dying, and they intend to wipe out the galaxy along with them. On a whim, Ben uses the Omnitrix's genetic damage repair function, amplified by the Highbreed galactic jump gates, to rejuvenate the Highbreed's entire toxic bloodline, recombinating their DNA and giving them a second chance at life. With the war ended, and Ben Tennyson now recognized as a galactic hero, the Highbreed return home. Max continues training the Max Force, his new team of recruits, while Azmuth says his goodbye to Ben, who has yet again lost access to the Master Control. Ben's new heroic status starts to...
Man, I'm like, nigga, all this work I'm putting in, bruh, just let me keep that shit, bruh. Damn. Now, this is a long-ass video, y'all, and I'm having a great time, so I'm thinking I'm going to break it up into 2 parts. So, y'all drop a like, spam it up, let me know so that I can come back and finish this, because I want to finish it with y'all. But if y'all don't seem interested, I'm going to just finish it by myself. Alright? So, drop that like. Let's get 100 likes. We can get 100 likes. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Where you at, family?
Where you at,
See you
Berto?
on the next one. Gone.